of the vaccine. And of course, with the proper management of the cold chain system, so that there will be no spoilage, there will be no wastage. And of course, when we do this, there will be also appropriate management of the resources. We are maximizing the resources, not only of the government, but also of any entity, whether it's private or public. Well, it all depends. Importation of the vaccine is subject to the rules and regulations of both the originating country where the product is manufactured, as well as on the receiving or importing country. So very simple ways, probably just like here in the Philippines, there are processes which are shortened, not necessarily to skip some important processes, but it's just to fast track, like shortening the timelines that the evaluation of the supporting documents being submitted are done, no? Shortened in timelines, and maybe the length of time that the documents will be staying within the office of a person responsible for the processes required. I think that's all I could share.
Thank you very much. Mr. Barela, do you have anything to share about, because it's something to do with traceability of all these things and the safety of the vaccines itself, no? Considering that the Philippines is an island composed of several islands. Thank you.
Okay, I agree with Ms. Janet. Definitely need to use digitalization. It is about time. You know, as I was saying, the integrity of not only vaccines but the therapeutics coming from when they are, and considering that this big pharma, you know, are compliant with global standards. It is easy. It is actually very little training for our bureaucrats, especially our border patrols, no, armed with the hand scan and the inward-forward manifesto which they receive prior the arrival of the products. They can now know exactly who the manufacturers are, the even global location number, which is also registered, and the products that they have that are identified. And that way, now we are able to find out that barring these numbers that have been assigned to, you know, you will know when a product coming in is from a lot different source. Most likely it will be counterfeit because it has not been authorized. And the way to do that is through migrating to the digital world. Anyway, we are into it right now. It has been accelerated in view of the pandemic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Barela. Thank you very much. Anyway, we're very fortunate that the vaccine czar, General Galvez, is still around and really observing the conduct of the summit. Well, just one question. Considering you're familiar with this, and maybe Ms. Janet Jacoselem can also share the information about how to go about this. When we talk about, since the vaccines, General Galvez will be continuously arriving, we must understand that there are safe storage standards that is required for these specific vaccines, no? Specifically on temperature requirement. And we must have to understand and consider that the Philippines is an archipelago with 3 major islands covering the 7,100 islands, no? So it might, when you look at it, it seemed to be it might be a logistic nightmare as we expand the coverage of the vaccination program. General Galvez, are you still around? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir, we have anticipated this problem, considering that we have also some difficulties and challenges on having multi storage that we will be needing. So, in order to solve this problem, we have already talked with World Bank and ADB. If we can, we can include already an end-to-end a contract wherein the third-party provider will be included in the contract on the price of the vaccine. So with that, World Bank and also ADB allowed us that in terms of Moderna and Pfizer, and maybe with Sputnik, we will have an end-to-end services. For example, in Moderna, considering Moderna will be having a -20, we have already arranged with Swillig for an end-to-end services wherein Swillig will be the EUA holder. At the same time, they will provide services and storage to Moderna. Same thing with Novavax. Unilab will be taking care of it. And also for Pfizer, most likely it will be taken care of by Swillig. And we also coordinated with with the different LGUs that they have to provide also some safe storage, especially Manila, Sarisco, already bought ultra freezer like -70 and -80. They have also some freezer for -20 and also storage for 2 to 8. And with that, we can simplify things. Considering that we will be receiving more or less 140 million, we diversified also third-party providers so that we can mitigate the risk of having only one service provider. For COVAX, we have already MetroPac under the MVP group, and we are so happy that until now, and God forbids, we have a very, very negligible wastage. As of this moment, wala po kaming nakita pong wastage, and we are very happy.
Thank you very much, General Galvez, for that very important information. And we do hope that as the government partners with our main logistics provider and storage facility provider, Swillig Pharmaceutical, I guess Ms. Jacusalem can give us a 1-minute information about how you will be handling it in partnership with end-to-end information that General Galvez has just mentioned. Ms. Janet.
Salamat po. So first and foremost, I think everybody knows that this is the first time really that anybody in the world is embarking on such a large scale program. And kami din ho sa Zwillig, we do not claim that we have experience in doing this. What really we can bank on is the experience and the number of years that we've built the expertise around the handling of vaccines, considering that in the country, we've really already been handling vaccines, although not at this scale. Now, the preparation that we've been doing is really around making sure that our systems are ready and enabled when the vaccines arrive. First, what we've done was expand our capacity in cold chain. So we've added cold rooms. We've bought additional freezers. We have walk-in freezers for -20, and we have upright freezers for -80. And we've beefed up capacities in our different warehouses. Secondly are the systems. So we have systems around tracking of the vaccines while they're in transit. Xylem is our system that will also help us to do the proper planning to make sure that we're optimally planning for the routes when the vaccines are shipped out, and we are able to track them even while they're in transit. We've built EasyVax so that we have a way to communicate between our system and what the vaccination centers are doing. So these are really just some of the things that we've already started to set up and are using with some of the LGUs that we work with.
Thank you very much. We wish you a successful end-to-end partnership with our government, Swillig Pharmaceutical. Anyway, let's go back to ivermectin. Okay. For Dr. Alan Landrito and Dr. Sergio Ortiz Luis. Would you say that the use of ivermectin to prevent COVID-19 can mitigate the risk of inequality in COVID-19 vaccine distribution and administration? Dr. Landrito first.
Since we have seen how effective ivermectin can be in preventing COVID-19, and while we are seeing there are shortages, we cannot just get the vaccine in as much as we wanted to have been given to as much people as needed. Then I would say that the use of ivermectin can really mitigate this risk of inequality. And it is based on the fact that ivermectin is really very effective in the management of COVID-19 as well as in prevention. And I believe so, even the management of long COVID and even in preventing complications coming from the vaccine.
Thank you, sir. Sol, SOL.
That's a technical question, so I cannot answer that. All I'm saying is, if I may add, in the IATF, there cannot be the prestige of the Department of Health is been at its lowest, because we are now in lockdowns because of lapses that is caused by DOH, and the issue on ivermectin is not helping them any. Even the president, even IATF itself, it's not helping them any. What can be more conflicting than the fact they've authorized 5 hospitals to do it, therefore it's safe, although it's secret who they are. So why cannot they allow, if it's safe, why cannot they allow doctors who are willing to put their head on the block for this to prescribe it? Why do they want it to disappear from the map? Is it really that important that they are able to stop this? Kanino ba sila may commitment to be able to stop this ivermectin? Or is it simply because they don't like anything cheap? I cannot understand. No? You know, at times, the only reason that they say is kulang pa ang testing is because they probably have not read what I have read. I don't know. There are so many publications. There are so many countries which accepted it. And yet, wala ba silang papel sa na they don't get this paper in DOH, that they have not read what we have read. They have not heard the doctors all over the world that we have talked to and the doctors here. How can you even say that there is still there is still a need when the policy for other medicines, for other vaccines is so different. Dito, pag may problema yung vaccine, ini-explain pa nila, sila pa nag-justify. Ito, the only thing that they can say, we don't want to create false expectation. So what? So they can, but allow them to use it, because if it can save some lives, it should be able to save some lives.
Thank you very much, SOL. Anyway, going back again to Dr. Alan Landrito, okay? I suppose you must have explained already the answers to these questions, but just for the benefit of the participants to have a better view and understanding of ivermectin, I will just throw the questions again. Once and for all, is ivermectin effective or not effective as an alternative for COVID-19 vaccines? That's the first question. The second question is, can alternative effective treatments for COVID-19 treatments that are also readily available and affordable really exist, especially for those who want immediate immunity but are not prioritized? These questions came from our audience.
Excuse me, Bobby.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Sammy ang raise his hand. Dr. Sammy ang raise his hand.
Okay. Dr. Samyang, the question is for Dr. Landrito. There is a question here for
It's okay.
Dr.
It's okay. Let
follow.
Dr. Landrico answer that first. I just have a question for General Galvez.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Si
after
Dr.
you,
Landrico muna. Landrico.
after Dr. Landrito, we will allow Dr. Samyang to ask some question to General Galvez.
Okay, I will first answer the second question. which is can alternative effective treatments for COVID-19 that are also readily available and affordable really exist. Let us look into China. As of the present time, they have only 90,655 total cases. Comparing that with US, it's 33 million. So what is 33 million against 90,000? And South Korea is 122,000 up to this time. Comparing that with US, which is 33 million. I would say there are really readily available, affordable treatments. China is using chloroquine sulfate. South Korea is using hydroxychloroquine. And many parts of the world, maybe 22% of countries are using ivermectin. Not all the population, but these countries have allowed use of ivermectin, and those who are using it are really finding very effective and high index of efficacy and safety. Now, when we ask the question is about the first question, is ivermectin effective or not effective as an alternative to the COVID-19 vaccine? Now, I cannot answer directly because these are two different things. We cannot compare treatment with vaccine, no? But in terms of being a very effective treatment in handling COVID-19, and if we look into the mechanisms of action, which is shielding the patient from getting COVID-19, although allowing the virus to, there's actually no way of preventing the virus from coming in, from people getting infected, because it's an airborne transmission. Then, by the use of ivermectin, while we are using ivermectin and not getting COVID-19, we are allowing for an infection to come in, but and being prevented at the same time. We are actually getting a natural immunity. We are allowing for a natural immunity to set in. But comparing that with an artificial immunity that will be given by the vaccine is another thing. So the question is, why or why not? Yes, I will say yes. If I were to be asked, I would rather get ivermectin, which has a high index of safety and efficacy, and take it regularly and allow for a natural immunity. And I will rather prefer that than getting a vaccine which has not established a high index of safety and efficacy. So I will go for ivermectin or regular intake until the pandemic ends.
Thank you very much, Dr. Landito. Anyway, a question from Dr. Samiang to General Galvez.
Yeah, General Galvez, si Dr. Samiang po to, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I know na you and the DOH have deputized most hospitals to become vaccination centers, no? Kaya lang, maybe you can you can fine-tune with them. Ang dami-dami hong requirements. Napakahirap po. But I'm thinking we have 2,000 hospitals nationwide, about 1,000 privates and 1,000 public. Maybe you can cut down the red tapes in approving vaccination centers. Importante po yan because our hospitals are more than ready to help the LGUs. And I think you have delegated the role of approving vaccine centers to LGU. And you and I know na yung LGU, depende kung saan po. If you are an LGU as progressive as Manila, mabilis yun. But sa mga probinsya po, baka mahirapan tayo. Kasi po, our hospitals, most of them are ready to help you. Kasi magpagdagsa ng vaccines, problema yan. Kasi kung hindi kaya kasi ng LGU lahat sa vaccination centers nila, yung mga sports center, kailangan din konti sa hospital po. We are willing to help. Lalo na you have vaccinated all of us against so we are willing, the doctors are willing to help po. Now, I would like to make chance ba ako to answer Dr. Landrico. In this audience po, we have to understand that 98% of coronavirus infection will recover. We lose about 2%. That's mortality rate of 2%. And most of the people who die from COVID are the elderly, the people with some immunocompromised, lalo na mga matataba. Yung mga problema, no? So we have to understand that. Kasi if you keep injecting ivermectin into the picture, karamihan man, they will recover by themselves. And you already mentioned that. I would like to add a little caution na po. Kasi we cannot just, a lot of our people kasi are vulnerable. They want a quick fix na mabilis. Pero 1 tablet every 2 weeks, bali wala yan. I just want to make sure na we are not imposing a false sense of security to our people. Tama si Beverly, no? Kailangan mo may evidence-based. And I share the frustration of Mr. Ortiz kanina. Why is it that FDA and DOH are very strict? Hindi naman yun Kasi kailangan po, guided by science po. No? DOST comes out, tama po yun. It's very frustrating po It's very frustrating. But we have to be cautious in our approach po to medicine like chloroquine or ivermectin. Yun lang po. Thank you po.
Bobby, could I ask a question?
Any response from Dr. Galvez, from General Galvez?
Sir, we can shorten yung requirements, and I believe the requirements is very clear, and also we have given the LGU the autonomy to really coordinate with the private and the public hospitals. Sa ngayon, sir, I believe medyo ang ginawa namin po sa DOH is talagang we try to limit po yung requirements so that we can maximize yung usage ng mga private hospitals. And we are very thankful that our hospitals, private hospitals, are very compassionate to really use the facilities, especially here in Metro Manila. Even the 5 major hospitals. Thank you very much for our hospital association. They have given the 5 hospitals. They have given us 17 sites for 100,000 jobs a month. So we are very thankful with them, and also the supply chain expert like Pepo and also Paulo Bromeo make a simulation of how many hospitals and vaccination sites that we will be using in order to produce 500,000 jobs a day. And we really need the participation of the private sector here, and also the healthcare providers. And we are very thankful. And Dr. Ang, we will abide with your suggestion that we will cut the requirements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bobby,
Thank you very much. Yes, Ambassador.
Okay.
We have a last few minutes here.
Two questions. General Galvez, I have been trying to seek the help of Dr. Ang because of the sheer number of people who need vaccination. For him in his clinic, aside from a Chinese General Hospital, to help us to vaccinate a lot of our people here, especially among the Chinese community. And along that line, Dr. Ang tried to assist us, except that he find it difficult to seek approval from the Department of Health to allow the private facility to be used for vaccination center. That's a question number 1. The second question also for General Galvez is, together with our very own Jesus Barrera, we are trying to go into the production of vaccine in our country. Do our government encourage the private sector to do this? Or, General Galvez, could we tie up or work with you or the Philippine government to put up vaccine manufacturing facility? Thank you po, sir.
Sir, I believe the first question can be answered by Dr. Beverly pertaining the approval of the usage of the private third healthcare providers. Dr. Beverly. I think Dr. Beverly is already at. The FFCCII dosage of 500,000, we already agreed with Sinovac that it might be coming this coming June. we have an order of 4.5 million, and we agreed that the 500,000 will be given out to our Filipino Chambers of Commerce, and we will arrange with the DOH on how we could help administer this 500,000 to your community, sir. I will make sure, Ambassador, that we will, the DOH and the NTF and also the IATF will help facilitate on this so that we can maximize the vaccination of our community, including in coordination with the LGU po. Then yung second, sir, sir, can you repeat the second question?
The second question is, we plan to put a vaccine manufacturing facility in the Philippines.
Yes,
Do you
yes, sir.
encourage, or could we tie up with your office or whichever government agency for such kind of project?
Sir, actually, sir, during our briefing with the president 1 month ago, we told them that we cannot have vaccine security if we cannot produce our own vaccine. So we remember in 1939 we produced this vaccine and we donated vaccine to China. That's 1939, and that was our lost glory. In order to survive in this pandemic and the next pandemic, we need to have vaccine security, not only for COVID but also from the non-COVID cases, the 10 fatal cases with us. Now DTI now is opening gates for a PPP, G2G and PPP model in opening up the vaccine factory here with DOST. So this afternoon after our meeting, we will be having a meeting with the DOH, DOST, DBM, and also with other agencies to discuss the immediate actions that we have in order to expedite the construction and the establishment of the fill and finish factory in Clark, and also our coordinations with the different manufacturing pharmaceutical companies like Unilab, and also other pharmaceutical companies to establish manufacturing capability here. And I believe as we will also connecting with Moderna on the production of the boosters here in Clark. So we have ongoing negotiations on how we could establish pharmaceutical companies that can produce vaccines in the near future. So yun po ang po namin na we need, in order to achieve health security and vaccine security, we need to establish our own vaccine factory here. And the president is telling DBM to release billions in order to produce that kind of capability.
Sure, so for private sector, it has to be PPP?
Sir, actually, we have two options. Either G2G, government to government, and also PPPP. I believe MVP already had an agreement with South Korean factory that can produce vaccines, and that they can produce vaccines at 40 million a year. So, and also, I believe India is talking with one of our pharmaceutical to also produce some fill and finish. And also Israel, maybe they will be coming here in May 18. And they wanted to have a clinical trial and establishment of a vaccine factory here in order to produce an oral vaccine. So yun po ang mga ginagawa po nating negotiations. Our negotiations on the procurement of vaccine is some sort of generational, meaning our vaccines that we are buying is not only for 2021, but also we are looking at the possibility of second generation, third generation vaccines that can handle or prevent the mutations of the variants and against the variants. So yun po ang ginagawa po namin ngayon in coordination with the vaccine expert panel and the DOST.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Salamat, sir.
Are you done? Anyway, only 1 minute because in the interest of time. Okay, Director Varela.
Can I ask Secretary Galvez if, let's say, we will write a letter to you because there are some of the international pharma, for example, Gamaleya, who's interested to set up also a laboratory here. Can we endorse them to you? and they can be attended to, because it appears to be a serious offer.
There should be, the letter should be with the DOST and the DOH po, sir.
DOST and DOH.
Yes, sir. DOST under Secretary Peña, so that they can evaluate the future scientific feasibility of establishing a vaccine factory po.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, General Galvez, Ambassador Chua, and Chairman Varela. The last two questions are meant back to the private sector for Dr. Sergio Ortiz-Luis. Okay, these are related to the vaccine and to ivermectin. SOL, what urged you to push for the approval of ivermectin as a treatment against COVID-19? Do you still stand by that decision now? That's the first question. The second question, sir, what is your take on the no vaccine, no work policy? How can we guarantee in the workplace? I mean, can you just, for the understanding of our participants, sir?
Well, on the no work, no take vaccine, I think I don't think it will prosper anyway, because basically I think it can be legally questioned. I'm not even sure whether it is unconstitutional to be able to do that, no. And besides, let's assume na palaki ng palaki yung mga gusto magpa-vaccine ngayon. When they start seeing that many of our officials, even our health officials, government officials, our governors and mayors are having vaccines, the confidence is going up. And you will notice that they're even quarreling now on priorities. No? Even our employees in the private sector before, when you take a survey, many are waiting and cannot make a decision. Now I know that more than 50%, I don't know, and they come to us and say, when can we be scheduled? So as this goes on, I think the people who would like to be vaccinated, the confidence will be there. It will increase in any case. I think as the vaccines arrive, you will see that people will be there to be vaccinated. We don't have to make it compulsory.
The other question you did not answer, SOL. What urged you to push for the approval of ivermectin as a treatment against COVID-19? Do you still stand by that decision now? That is from one of the participants, sir.
Yes, because from what I know, they're even testing efficacy, the one of the OST. We're not talking about efficacy here. We're talking of safety. If people want to use it, I can see that there were two arguments against it. No? One is there can be overdose and your mind can be affected. You can be, and that is really, that argument can be used against aspirin, because if you take overdose of aspirin, you're taking suicide. No? So the same argument for overdose. Number two is creating a false sense of security. Well, so does vaccine. When you have vaccine, you are not 100% sure that you will not get sick, that you cannot infect. Do we say that we have false sense of security because of it? So anyway, let's clarify. If you take ivermectin, just be sure that it's just an additional precaution as like the vaccine. It can be something that can add to the vaccine. The other argument is there's still lack of showing. That is why I was saying, wala pa silang markets. Hindi ba nagbabasa yung mga tagi-DOH, mga FDA, sa dami ng countries that already allowed it. That's maraming FDA, which we believe more than them now, because of the inconsistency, have agreed to it. And why shouldn't we just, for once, take the wrong? Let's not talk about efficacy. Let's just talk about if it's safe, let the doctors who prescribe it take the risk.
Thank you very much again. Dr. Sergio Ortiz Luis Jr. or SOL. Anyway, one last final question for Dr. Sammy Ang. Okay. What else can private hospitals like the Chinese General Hospital do to help in the safe vaccination of the Philippines against COVID-19? Question from the participants.
Well, our hospital prepared vaccination centers. We have created a separate area across our hospital because we have a big place now. We have a medical school and nursing school compound. So we actually invested in tents where we vaccinate our recipients. And we have an ambulance, we have a code card, and we have everything ready just in case kung may allergic reaction. No? So kompleto kami. This is how we prepare for the vaccine. We are prepared to do more than 1,000 or 2,000 patients a day. Naka-ready na po kami.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sammy Ang. There are still several questions here for the rest of the panelists, including the resource speakers and guests earlier. We will compile this and send it to them, and we will respond to those who have requested for these answers and inquiries in due time, as soon as we get the answers from these respective panelists and resource speaker. Anyway, at this point, I believe that this ends our panel discussion with the representatives of the private sector. And I believe we had a successful vaccine summit. Congratulations, Ambassador Francis Chua.
Bobby, could I
And of
say
course-
may I say
Okay.
two words?
Okay, Ambassador.
Okay. First, I would like to thank Bobby for hosting this particular summit. And of course, Dr. Ang, who go out of his way. I know he have a lot of patience waiting for him, but because he really supported us, that's why he stayed from the very beginning up to this very moment. Okay. And we have the president, Dr. Liong, as a president of Federation, is as busy as a president of PCCI, and because of his successful business, he's extremely busy. So again, we really have to thank him for spending so much time with us. Yeah. And the ambassador to Ambassador Wang, Ambassador for the two excellency, for the website to be open for us. It's really something that we fully appreciate. And to Dr. Duminging Villa, to Dr. Sutayut, and to all the rest who has been with us from 3 o'clock up to this time. We really appreciate your full support. And of course, our very own Jess Barrera, our kingmaker, Dr. Ortiz Luis Jr. Without the support, I don't think this summit could be successful. And our good friend Rene, he has been monitoring us the whole afternoon. Rene, salamat po. And to the rest of the Secretariat, no less than Lynn, Paul, Edwin, and everybody else. Maraming salamat po. And of course, finally, the Chinoy TV. Through thick or thin, we have always been together. And I appreciate the support you give to us. And I hope that our working relationship will continue for more forum and summit to come. Thank you. Maraming salam po sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Francis Chua, and congratulations to you for this organization of this, organizing this successful, first ever successful vaccine summit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, from the panelists to our participants, let's give a big round of applause, virtual applause, to all our panelists and our resource speakers and those who participated in this very successful summit. I would like to make mention, especially to PA Joey Concepcion, to Dr. Sergio Ortiz Luis Jr., to Dr. Luningning Villa, Dr. Alan Landrito, Dr. Beverly Ho, Mr. Jess Barela, Dr. Sami Ang, Ms. Janet Jacusalem, and all those participants. On behalf of our organizers and our audience members, we appreciate your time and insights to expound on the COVID-19 vaccination efforts being done here in the Philippines. If all goes well, I hope that we can put an end to the COVID-19 pandemic with effective programs and the cooperation of everyone in the country. As we wrap up the first of its kind vaccine summit, I would now like to give the floor back to my co-host, Ms. Mary Grace Ko. This has been your host and moderator, Bobby Amores, for the Vaccine Summit, Equitable Distribution and Safety. Have a good day and good evening to all of you. Maraming salamat po. Mabuhay.
Dr. Ang, yung mga doctors sa amin, hindi mga doktor talaga ng medicine, ha? Pati doktor, baka akala mo doktor medicine.
I'm very honored to meet you in person po. Kasi I read about you all the time sa newspaper po eh. Meron kayong strong feelings, no? Pero alam mo, I cannot blame talaga DOH, no? Kasi they have to stand by something, no? Yung mga data kasi mahirap talaga, Mr. Ortiz. Talagang mahirap, no? Yeah.
And yes, there you have it. Thank you very much once again, Sir Bobby, for leading that very eye-opening and educational discussion. Well, we have indeed an insightful exchange of ideas from our distinguished speakers this afternoon, and may it be handling of the vaccine, the timeline of and also to have vaccine literacy and everything in between. It's really nice to see how our different organizations get to work together to fight COVID-19. And again, we encourage people to get vaccinated once it's available and once you get to be eligible to have it. And as we say, no one is safe until everyone is safe. And once more, thank you very much to all the speakers, our panelists for today. It has been a pleasure and privilege having you all here, especially despite of your busy schedule, and all your wonderful efforts to help stop COVID-19 in the Philippines are truly well appreciated. This time has come that we have to say goodbye to all of you, and as we have reached already the end of our summit, the Vaccine Summit, Equitable Distribution and Safety. Again, this is jointly hosted by the International Chamber of Commerce Philippines, the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry, also the International Chamber of Commerce. Thank you very much for making this event possible. Also, we would like to remind everyone that this video is now available online, and feel free to share this, also to visit Chinoy TV's official Facebook and YouTube pages. Once again, this has been Mary Grace from Chinoy TV, I wish all of you safe and COVID-free 2021. Thank you so much. Stay safe and goodbye.